to Exploring Tarot. My name is Sandi, and today we are going to be looking at the Seed and Sickle Oracle deck. When I saw this deck at first, I was really taken by the beautiful artwork, and I had it in my shopping cart, in an online bookstore for so long. Then I decided to order it, and then I suddenly cancelled it. I felt like, no, I can wait. But then a month later, I'd bought it again, and here we are. I felt like I was not sure whether or not I would be able to work with a botanical oracle deck. And but then I thought I won't know until I try, and I really do like the artwork and the botanicals that are represented in this deck. Especially one of the cards have a very specific meaning to me, and I will talk more about that in a little bit. But anyway, just a little bit about the deck itself. It's published by Liminal 11. And the box itself is beautiful. It's hard, a rigid box, and it opens with a flap in the bottom, magnetic flap. In the box you will find the deck and two different guidebooks. One is called the Dawn guidebook, and the other one is called the Dusk guidebook, and these ones have different interpretations of the cards depending on if you want something that is more for practical advice or more for internal self-reflective advice. This is what it says on the back of the book. In the Seed and Sickle deck, each card can be read in two ways: the Dawn and the Dusk, providing advice for every reader, whether you are actively working towards a goal or focusing on your mental well-being. This booklet contains the Dawn readings for the cards, perfect if you're starting a new project, building new relationships, or focusing on revitalizing yourself. If you're looking for guidance on how to best take care of your body and your mind, open the Dusk booklet for more holistic reading. So this one then is the Dusk booklet, and yes, this one says exactly the same thing, except for that this booklet contains the Dusk readings for the cards for when you're looking for guidance on how to best take care of body and mind. So, internal, external, practical, I suppose, is the short of it all. Anyway, I thought that I would put on some lovely background music and flip through the cards for you, and we can relax a little bit while flipping through the cards. Then I will just pick out a few cards, talk to you a bit about what I love about them, and then we could pull a card and read from the two guidebooks. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that little flip through. It was my very first one, so please let me know in the comments if there was anything I could do better. I wasn't sure whether it was better to have the other card face up or down so that you could see the backs, or not there at all if you just want the one card in the picture. Alright, so like I mentioned, this deck has two guidebooks, and it's the Dawn guidebook and the Dusk guidebook. And if we will have a little, now we'll have a little look at the guidebooks in detail. And here's the table of contents. We always like to see that. So we've got foreword, introduction, quick reading guide, the cards, and they seem to be separated into 4 different suits: spring, summer, fall and winter. And then we get a little section about reading the cards, spreads and complementing the tarot. Well, that's interesting. So, I mean, and look at how gorgeous these guidebooks are. I really love how illustrated it is. And this quick reading guide is really good, because one thing that I was a little bit hesitant about was that the cards themselves don't actually have any keywords on them, just the title of what plant is being depicted on the card. So I would have preferred to have a keyword on there, but that's because that's what I'm used to. I'm used to having keywords on my oracle cards, like for example with the Earthbound Oracle permanence, and then a picture so that my intuition have it's like a springboard for my intuition. But I suppose, I mean, these cards, they don't only depict the plant, it also has something else that you can build on, like this hand and how the branches are like penetrating the hand, and then this moon, and just the general feel that you can get from these cards through the choice of colors as well. It's going to be a learning curve for me, definitely, but I think it's going to be a really interesting deck to read with. But anyway, let's have a look at these keywords for a moment. Spring. Right, okay, so we have the quick reading guide, and it's divided into the different suits. So we've got spring, summer, fall and winter. So if we look at that like from a tarot point of view, where we've got wands, cups, pentacles and swords, or each of those represents the elements, and each element has like a basic, like you read swords as the air element, and it has to do with your mind and thoughts and such, and the cups are water, and that's emotions and so on. So here we have spring, and stands for or represents new beginnings, fresh starts and times of growth. We've got summer, which represents exploration, the journey. We've got fall, which represents change, reconnection, reward, nostalgia. And then we've got winter, that represents planning, preparation and repair. And then this is from the Dawn guidebook. I think that it's different in the Dusk guidebook. Yes, it is. Let's have a look. Spring, from the perspective of working with your body and mind. Spring represents new outlooks and self-development. Summer represents self-acceptance and growth. Fall represents change, reconnection, reward. And winter represents gathering strength, setting down roots. So this really gives us quite a lot to work with, and each of these cards then also have their own keywords. And the keywords are again different between the Dawn and the Dusk guidebook. So we get the seed, containment, protection, patience, poppy, loss, grief, the passing of regret. Belladonna, guardianship, protection by others. Let's have a look at Daisy, rebirth after loss. I mean, this is really good stuff. And I think that these quick keywords or quick reading guides are going to be in a lot of use for me. Of course, the little write-up is important as well, but a lot of the time I've felt like the write-ups are just there for further interest, whereas, you know, I was having doubts if I would be able to read these cards intuitively at all. But I think once I've used the deck enough and maybe gotten to use the guidebook enough, the keywords might start being represented in the cards enough for me to actually then use them as like I said before, a springboard to reading more intuitively. So yeah, the guidebook so far, I mean, it's beautiful, and this quick reading guide is really something else. I really love that. And you get so much because there's 2 guidebooks. You can choose what type of reading you want to do for yourself, and you can get such different results depending on if you want to focus inward or outward. And yeah, let's have a look at the spreads. Alright, and then there's also a little section here about dusk versus dawn readings, reversals, spreads come here, the seed in growth. Let's come in a little closer so you can read yourself and pause if you want to. And the sickle, oh that's nice. What was sown, on what do events rely, what will be reaped, what will be nourished. Oh, that's a beautiful spread. I think I'll use that for a tarot spread as well. Spring equinox. Alright, we get quite a few spreads here. Fall equinox. The seed in the wild. Alright, complementing the tarot, sorry. The environment. I'm really liking these guidebooks. Let's see if the spreads are the same in the Dawn guidebook. Yes, the spreads are the same in both guidebooks, but that's... Oh no, hang on. We get... Right, the spreads are largely the same, but in the Dawn guidebook we get the summer solstice spread and then the winter solstice spread instead of the equinoxes. So, I mean, you get quite a lot of spreads in these guidebooks. Yeah, loving the guidebooks, really. Very nice. Let's quickly shuffle and pull a card and read from both the guidebooks. Unfortunately, I cannot riffle shuffle to save my life. I really, really wish that I could. I have been practicing on some regular playing cards, but I just can't get it to work. And if I do get it to work, I can't bridge it. I might be able to get them to, do the thing together with actual playing cards, but then as soon as I try and do it with tarot cards or oracle cards, I can't get it to work. I don't know what it is. So I will have to just be happy with overhand shuffling. Right. Let's pull a card. Mistletoe. This has such a lovely green to it. I'm going to zoom in for you so you can see it properly while I read out of the guidebook for you. So, if we start with the Dusk guidebook for mistletoe. Let's see here now, 48. There we go. Mistletoe. In Scandinavia, the mistletoe is called the plant of peace. Enemies sworn to a duel must lay down their weapons until the next day if they encounter the plant on their way to a fight. No doubt the extra day to cool their tempers does them the world of good, and it will do the same for you. Step back from the problem that's perplexing you and allow yourself some time and some space, before making any rash decisions. I've never heard of that, and I'm, Nordic. All right, let's have a look at the Dawn guidebook. Here we go. You've been working hard lately and you might feel you're running out of energy. Mistletoe is a plant of community and promises. Take a moment to think about people who have offered you their support in the past. Have you taken them up on that offer? Favors are hard to come by and even harder to call upon, but now is the time to ask. So, these cards have really surprised me. I mean, I said before that I thought the artwork is absolutely stunning, and if this artist, Fez Inkwright, were to do a tarot deck with the same type of art style, I would be there for it immediately. Please, Fez Inkwright and Liminal 11, if you hear this, please make that happen. The more I handle these cards, the more I just feel this really strong connection to them. And this card, for example, just really makes me think of my dad. He's a chef and he loves chanterelles, and which is the mushroom on here, I believe. And I used to, it just has this really warm memory for me from when me and my mum and my dad, when I was younger, we went mushroom picking, or like searching for chanterelles in the forest. And here in Finland, it's a bit of a secret. If you find a chanterelle spot, you keep it secret because you don't want anybody else finding your chanterelle spot. And we managed to find this simply amazing spot in the forest, and there were so many chanterelles there that we ran out of baskets, and buckets, and we started picking and putting in our caps and hats, and my mum even took off her top underneath her jacket and tied a knot in the bottom and used that as a bag, a carrier bag, to get as many as we could. Obviously, we picked in a responsible way. When you pick chanterelles, for example, or any other mushroom for that matter, it's important that you don't pick it clean. It's important that you cut the biggest parts of, like the parts that you don't intend to eat, straight away, and leave them on the forest floor, so that the mushrooms have a chance to continue to grow in that same spot. And but we just found a treasure trove of golden mushrooms that day, and it's a very happy memory for me. So this card just really reminds me of that. And then with this spoon here and everything, yeah, it's a little story time for you. The more I spend time with these cards, at first I was really nervous, like I said, that I wouldn't be able to read with them, but the more time I spend with them, the more I see daisies have a really special connection for me as well. And the card that I actually bought the whole deck for is this rowan card, because rowans, I have a very specific connection to rowan trees, partly or mostly, I think, because when you translate my surname into English, it translates strictly into rowan leaf. So I feel like my family has a very specific connection to this tree, and we have rowan trees growing on we had rowan trees growing on our family yard. Now we don't have it anymore, but at my dad's place, we have lots of rowan trees growing, and it's a very strong connection to rowans. So this card is very special to me. I mean, even this card, I don't like snakes. I have a really, really bad aversion to snakes, but even this card is too beautiful to have an aversion towards this snake. It's quite funny, actually. This card as well. This is one of the cards that made me buy this deck. I absolutely adore this card. Birch trees are one of the most common trees here in Finland, and we had a big, gorgeous birch tree in the yard at the house where I grew up, and we used to, with my dad when I was little, also, I don't know what it's called in English. You put a tap into the tree and you get this birch water out of the trunk of the tree, and it has this very specific taste that always reminds me of summer in Finland, and very special connection to birch trees as well. But to be honest, every card in this deck is just so beautiful. I feel like I have a special connection to all of them. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to sinking my teeth into this deck. And this here was the first card that I pulled when I used the deck. So I feel like that's a really nice sign that I'm going to have great success reading with this deck. Right. Yeah. So this was the Seed and Sickle Oracle deck by Fez Inkwright, published by Liminal 11, and I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. This was my very first walkthrough and review, so please let me know what you think and if there's anything I could have done better. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later in my next video. Bye!